Actually, I did not expect to present this. I did expect to listen to the lectures or whatever here. But somehow Sister Norma asked me to present, to do some sharing of life experience and some inspiration. So I was a little nervous because English is not my native language, second language. So before I present this, please, my apologies if my pronunciation and my English is poor. Please understand me. Okay. So
just one moment.
Yes.
How many here have English as their second language?
English as the second language.
We all come from different countries.
Yes. Okay. So I made the topic digging the root out of life experience. So which is law of life. There is a Bible text, you all know Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. I did not believe that. And I am a Seventh-day Adventist. I am descended from a Seventh-day Adventist. This is my father and my mother. My father was a male nurse. My mother was a midwife. And this is my biological parents. And because of my father's request, I was attending the medical school in Myanmar for 6.5 years. For somehow, because of the political strike, it took me 10 years to finish the medicine. After that, like I said before, I was into the mission service directly after I finished the residency, not knowing what to do, but I just follow. And this is the president. There was a seminary clinic there. We just started to build a seminary clinic. The president of the clinic and me, we raised the fund and then we built a seminary, small clinic. It's just a small dispensary. Then I worked there as a family physician and also health instructor in the seminary. I was privileged to go to Loma Linda to get a Master of Public Health. Actually, I wanted to become a surgeon, but I became a health educator. Then the union called me to become a health director in the union. So for 13 years, I served at the union office as a health director. So being a health director, you needed to attend several training seminars after seminars, training after trainings, different kinds of seminars. Not only health, but also family, children, summer school, everything a director needed to attend. And also, regarding health, I learned a lot, and also I train young people with what I learned. Of course, we learn about nutrition a lot, especially in Adventist, right? So a lot of good things about vegetarianism, and also hydro and massage, yeah. By the way, this is my family picture. My husband is wonderful. And my 2 kids, the girl is 15 and the boy is 10. So learning from the teachings and experience of others through being a health director, I had to coordinate division meetings, seminars, and the international speakers from abroad, from Korea, from US, from Malaysia. So I got a lot of learning from them. So one of my weakness is I was easily inspired by people's teaching. Or you can say that it's a strength or weakness, I don't know. But whenever people speak, I listen to, and then I got, things easily and apply it. That's my weakness or strength, I don't know. So I got to learn hydrotherapy, and then everything I got, I applied it in the field. I did a lot of training, handy training and theoretical training, and also went medical outreach. And I also trained students in the seminary. I went to the villages, to take care of the health of the people in the community, especially the village people. I also had a chance to go through a mobile boat. We did clinic in the boat. And also I had attended the several big meetings about health. This is about the blue zones, where the centennials, how they live, how they eat, how they behave, how their family is, so that we know what is the secret of life in order to be healthy and be with a long life. So to conclude this, I got health knowledge and skills regarding New Start Plus. You know about the abbreviations? New Start, right? Nutrition, exercise, whatever we can learn in the Adventist society. So it's based on the natural laws. So some skills on hydrotherapy, massage, natural remedies, and then no to drugs, smoking cessation, an exercise program, juicing, detox, fasting, mental health, counseling, these kind of things I learned. In 2012, there's a medical doctor who is a ENT specialist from Germany. He came to Myanmar through a missionary trip. I was a coordinator with him. I had to interpret between the patients and the doctors. So I learned from him the law of light. The law of light and the law of life. So this is the last, this is just recently, in July, we went to a Southeast Mission to do a Law of Life seminar at Baptist Church, and then counseling in the morning section. So, digging, when I learned the law of life from this doctor, I was easily inspired by the message, as my weakness or strength, I don't know. So it was really inspired for me to want to know more and more into law of life. So out of the experience and knowledge, I think this law of life put everything into one package. Health and gospel and 10 commandments. It's beautiful. So regarding health, why do we get sick? In order to answer the questions, we will go into a little about humanity. So there are, if in Myanmar we use the word go sing alone means physical, mental, and spiritual. Whole being is a health, holistic health. So this was also found in Deuteronomy 6:5. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. So Satan is trying to divide the walk and faith, medical, missionary walk and gospel. But the Lord, where is wholeness, He wants everything into one package. There is a story you can find in Matthew, Mark, Luke, about the paralytic man in Capernaum. What the Lord said to him is, "Be of good cheer for mental health. The sins be forgiven thee is a spiritual health, and take up thy bed and go." This is physical. So health is wholeness, mental, physical, and spiritual. So let us go back to our creation history. You all know that according to Genesis 2:7, and the Lord God formed the man of the dust of the ground. This is physical. And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. This is spiritual, the spirit. And the man became a living soul. This is soul. So according to the law of life, our life is conditioned by our needs. If all needs are fulfilled, we will have a normal function and 100% health. If the needs are not fulfilled, there will be a dysfunction and the result will be disease of the other ends. So for example, okay, how many kinds of needs do we have? Physical, we can call it chemical, oxygen, water, temperature, rest, whatever we learn in the new stuff. So this is the physical needs of the life. For example, if the temperature goes down, the body reactions will become freezing. And if the body reactions, the temperatures went up, there will be a sweating. And if it go beyond sweating and then freezing, no function at all, and the result is death. How about the spiritual? The spiritual part, we need love. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Yes. So love is expressed in righteousness, liberty, security, etc. So this love is expressed as thoughts. So what I want to mention is that sometimes we are very conscious about our food. What do we eat? Healthy food. But sometimes we ignore what we think. So there's a saying, we are what we eat, and we are what we think. Which is more important, do you think?
What we think?
We are what you think. Based on what you think, you eat.
That's right.
You decide and you choose and you eat whatever you. So consciously and consciously, sometimes it's unconsciously, you choose right away. So thoughts are more important than the food we eat. Okay. If the need of the spirit is not fulfilled, how many reactions, how many disease, according to NGY writing, 9 out of 10 disease from the mind. So I couldn't believe this before, I find out it is really true. I read this Ministry of Healing, 9 out of these come from the mind. Couldn't be. As a medical doctor, work in the health field, 9 out of 10 diseases come from the mind. This couldn't be. But when I learn and from others' experience and my experience, when I reason it is true. True. So this from this side is no limit, at this side never too much of love. Let's look about the legal and biblical model of the human being. We have two brains, two hemisphere brain, right brain, left brain, and the cortex. The cortex, the outer part of the brain, we call it cortex. And then under the cortex that we have a nimbus system, where the chemistry, where the beginning of the chemistry. So this is called body, and the spirit is different from the body, and through the thoughts, the spirit talks to the body. So the spirit and body works together as a living soul, and the spirit based on the thoughts stimulate through the decisions which initiate the electrical current at the brain, at the cortex. So all the body reactions happen in our body are electrical currents. So if your current is good, you will be healthy. If your current is not good, you will be unhealthy. So your decisions are based on your thought, which the spirit speaks to you. So, but your spirit is subconscious. That's why in the Bible that, we need to realize our heart, our spirit, reason, and think before you do it.
Right. Yes.
So evidence of the spirit, there are animals, they need the liberty, freedom, safety and security, curiosity and knowledge, understanding, orientation and holding, loyalty, confirmation, reward, joy. But the spiritual needs of the humans are more than that. We need righteousness, we need justice, we need truth, we need responsibility, morality, wisdom, recognition, appreciation, happiness, peace, etc. So, I'm sorry, have I go too fast? Oh, I'm gonna say, I'm still learning. So, if there's a questions that I can answer, I will answer. If not, I cannot answer. I'm still learning.
May I say something?
Yeah.
Is that okay? In my studies, sorry, I just want to highlight this so you know and we know. I don't know if you know this.
I don't know if you know this, but we as Adventists are very weak in our understanding of our spiritual being. Okay? But the outside world, especially the occult world, they know this very much, so they take advantage of our spiritual being and use that power and that medium to wreak havoc in Christian churches. So we need to understand this. This is very new to me because just recently the Holy Spirit started impressing me to study that. Because that's the next realm we're going to be, the battle is going to be in that realm.
Yes, Satan is dividing the spirit and body.
Exactly.
Yeah. The contradiction between the spirit and the body. In the plant world, there is no ability to supply themselves with the basic needs. Plants are dependent on the basic need to be brought near to them so that they can take them over. But for the humans and animals, the spirit must decide and carry out the feeding. So, what is the difference? The spirit has a purpose and goal so that it governs the body to function, which is life. So, what is the main thing? Who wins? The spirit or the body? The purpose always wins. So here, the major differences of spirit and body. All functions of spirit and body only possible when connected to each other in the soul. It cannot be divided. But Satan is trying to divide it. There is a spiritualism happening in outside world. The spirit, he can act for himself. but body obeys the commands of the spirit. The spirit, he cannot be forced to act, but the body can be forced to act. The spirit only he can think, he can see, he can hear, feel, taste, smell, and decide. But the body has no spiritual capacities. Think, feel, or decide. So, the eye sees, or your eye sees, or your, who sees? The spirit. Yeah. Your ears hear, spirit hears. Yeah. The spirit only he can move the body, but the body incapacity to move himself. The spirit, he can have a relationship with God, humans, and other animals. But the body can store and deliver the information, but there is no relationship with God between the body and God. So according to law and testimony lead to light, I got this point. It's very good because sometimes we, as Christians, we always focus on the Bible, the testimonies, but we forget the nature, the laws in the nature. So, if that's how there are so many Christian denominations and religious organizations only based on one Bible book, but a lot of interpretation and understanding and estimation. So a lot of things are happening in the Christian world today. But if we put together the Bible and the natural laws together, the way we study Bible is based on the law of life. The truth is truth, There must be only one truth.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why my brother is, in our Adventist society we have so many, subgroup, group. But I'm praying that one day there's only one.
Amen.
Only one. Based on the law of life and the Bible. So it will give us the safe spirituality, which is the light. Yeah. So don't forget to study the law of life, God's unchangeable laws in the nature and in the universe. So the foundation of our study is based on 4 unchangeable things. This fundamental law that I will be talking later, and the structure of our human being, how God created our body is very unchangeable. We have 2 eyes, you have 2 eyes, 2 brain. Yeah. So this structure established by the Creator is unchangeable. And also the energy and basic needs of the anatomy, the structure is not changeable. And also the energy and basic needs which put the structure into function. The way we function in the body is not changeable. So these are the foundation of our study. It is an objective foundation, cannot be changed by interpretation. So in the medical world, the health, there is a law of cause and effect. The cause, in the medical science, as long as I study in the medical book, cause. What is the cause of this disease? And no. Etiology and no. But there is predisposing factors, risk factors, but they cannot say this is the cause. No, there's no way. Only etiology and no.
Really?
Etiology and no. Because they don't know. So the cause is invisible, but we can see the visible effect. We can see the primary effect. Is the stress cause or effect? Stress. Stress is cause or effect?
Effect.
Yes. So stress is the primary effect that we can see, the way we act. So because of the primary effect, we can see the secondary effect, which is dizziness, and then tertiary effect, we can fall. So anxiety also the visible effect, not the cause. There must be a cause behind it, but it's invisible. But we have to expose it. So anxiety is the primary effect. So behavior change is the secondary effect, and tertiary effect can be loss of work. And also conflicts, we fight each other. Husband and wife, parents and children, spouse, everything is conflicts. It's not the cause, it's the effect. So the secondary effect will be depression, can become a tertiary effect, which is suicide. So recently I went to Minnesota, and then I had seen the testimony, the funeral of a 14-year-old wife who got suicide by hanging.
14-year-old boy.
Yeah, 14-year-old boy, Karen, refugee, because of the broken family. So this law of, if he knows the law of life, this 14-year-old, he will not get suicide. But he doesn't find a solution. So this is the effect, maybe tertiary effect. And another one, 9-year-old boy also jumped to the river and suicide. 9 years old. Yeah, this is also from the broken family.
Oh, man.
Yeah. They cannot find the true source of love. So cause and effect, two different things. They are always different. Cause never can be in the body. It always from outside the body. So regarding the health, disease, inheritance is not because of our action. Accidents is partly our action, but it's not the cause yet. The chemistry that we eat, what we drink, what we breathe, the chemistry is partially our action, but the thoughts, only our action. Only our action.
Wow.
So it's very important to know what you think.
Yes. Really.
Yeah. So we cannot control the inheritance, accidents, chemistry, but we can control our thoughts.
Wow. Hallelujah. Wow.
But how? What are the abilities of chemistry according to the basic law? There are a lot of chemistry. I hate that. I hate to learn chemistry. It's very complicated. Organic, inorganic, metals, nutrients, or whatever. But the basic thing is the chemical reactions can only occur depending outside factors, can only proceed as intended design, because the necessary prerequisites for a reaction are always predetermined. Chemistry can absorb, store, and share energy and information. But he is not able to feel anything, cannot choose, cannot make any decision, and they cannot destroy by themselves. Cannot have a consciousness, cannot have cognitive abilities, cannot have morals. So where do these abilities come from? This thought, the thought. Who is the commander behind? So, but there is a co-working of the spirit and the body in the soul. Don't divide the spirit and the body. But we can differentiate the body and spirit, how they different from each other. But we cannot divide the spirit and the body. They are united in living soul. So what we see is not from the body, The spirit sees, what we hear also, what we feel, what we smell, what we taste. Everything is from the spirit, not in the body. But vice versa, the spirit has no choice for what the body brings to him. So we must also recognize the body also, because they are dependent. So everything that weakens the body weakens also the spirit. Even though the spirit is the commander, if the body weakens, also the spirit weakens. So we need to keep this. What is the responsibilities of the human spirit? The spirit, through the thought, it initiates the electricity, and the electricity changes into chemistry in the brain, limbic system. So it governs all the process in the body, nervous system, hormonal system, immune system, digestive system, blood sugar level, and keeps everything in the right balance. But the body responds to the input of the spirit's thoughts, and the input of the spirit by what he chooses to give him in chemistry, such as eating, drinking, inhaling, covering, hurting, etc. So, the satisfaction of our needs. The body must fulfill his need, the physical need, by taking food into the stomach. And the spiritual side of the body, he must take love in order to get the electrical current. So from who need to take the body itself, 100%. Who eat for you? We eat for ourselves. How? We take food from the outside world, from nature, into the stomach. So we must take things from outside, whatever physical or spiritual. And also for the spiritual side, in order to feed our spirit, we must take from outside, which is love, expressed in loving thoughts, which initiate the good electrical current. There's an experiment. They put the bacteria into the nose of the honeymoons, the couples who are going to get honeymoon soon. They put the bacteria in the nose and then let them go to the honeymoon. And then when they come back, nobody got sick because of love. At the time, it's the maximum height of love. So good electrical current is happening, so they never get sick. So hugging, hugging and touching and love each other is a good medicine. Yeah. It produces good electrical current. Yeah. So nobody cannot think for you, nobody cannot eat for you. So we have to think for ourselves. But there is an error. There is an error behind it. We know that we think for ourselves, but I will tell you later. Why did you get married?
Love.
To love or to be loved?
Yes.
To love or to be loved?
To be loved.
See? To be loved. A lot of errors here.
Is to share.
Yeah. Okay, you will see the beauty of this later.
Okay.
Just keep on it. Black means it's error. The black color shows the errors. We don't need to be loved. Or we don't need to receive. Yeah, think about this. What is that? And we don't need the acts of others. It is impossible. There's no law for this action. Human error is you give to take. You give to take. This is impossible. The law of life prohibits it. So the cycle of life and function in man depends on whom you trust. Based on your trust, your consciousness, your will, your mind, your reason, your conscience tell you who you are, your identity. So this trust motivates you decide whether good electricity or bad electricity act on the brain, the cortex. Then through the limbic system, your emotions happen. These emotions also identify who you are. And also the limbic system also stimulates bone marrow and to all organs. There you can see the new start principles which treat only the organs level, not the cause yet. Organs level. So there is a way to go far to the cause. I was thinking, I was learning new start things, God's plan, the health laws, but are they necessary? Where are their roles in the law of life? Then these are at the organs level. When we fix them through the health laws, it is only at the organs level, or physical level, not to the spiritual level yet. So, Then the limbic system react back to the cortex and go to whom, express that whom you are. So this is the circle of life, function, and the circle of life in a human being. So if your identity, who you are, is right, all functions are normal. So what is the reason for our relationships? This is me, this is your spouse, father, mother, children, pets. Okay, there's love. So where do we put give or take? Give. Only give. Not take. So if you take from human, it's error.
So we should just be giving.
Yeah.
And never be loving, never receive.
That's the culture of heaven.
Yeah. Giving. So to be loved and to receive is an error. You don't need to be loved. You don't need to receive. Always give.
That's true.
But in order to give, you must take from somewhere.
Yes.
So the error leads to I am dependent for love from the acts and existence of others. See? I felt that in my relationship with husband, especially my husband. I'm very dependent on him. Dependent mean can be love or any kind of emotions. If I am upset by him, I am dependent on him. Right? So this is a
Lovely.
yeah. So what must be the error that mislead us into these conclusions? So the error is my spiritual needs are satisfied by what others are doing. They must be alive to do it. Still need the dead. Even though sometimes the mother, father already dead, they go to the cemetery, to the graveyard and mourn. So these are the errors. I need to be loved, respected, honored, praised. It's an error. And others are not allowed to do me wrong. Lie, betray, beat, steal. I must have to put boundaries to others. And the error is I judge and condemn them when they are doing the wrong, being convinced they did it to me. I have to control time, circumstances, money, goods, and the life of those around me. So this is an error. But we know that when we read these are true, but in reality, the error just coming. We don't even realize it. It's subconscious.
Yes.
So I found out the beautiful law of life for the universe in the desire of ages. All things Christ received from God, but He took to give. This is the foundation of our universe. So Christ received from His Father, He took to give. That's all. So basic model for all complex functions, God produced love, the Word of God, and we take the Word of God and then we give to others, and the others take and then give back. The circle is there, you can see. So the fruit goes back to God. The fruit goes back to God.
That's why.
Yeah, so you can see in the natural world, the water cycle, everything cycle, it goes back to the origin. Yeah. Passing through one after another. So every action of the human being starts with trust. Whom we trust. So whatever we eat, drink, walk, etc., is based on whom we trust, and make the decision what to eat, what to drink, how many miles we walk, how many hours we walk, etc. Every detail of the functions in daily life is based on whom we trust. So, but in the history, and even in our life, the creature dependency, the foundation of all the problems, Lucifer trusts in himself, right?
Yes.
Fallen angels trust Lucifer.
Yes.
Eve trusts the serpent. Adam trusts his wife. Abraham trusts his wife. Isaac trusts his son. Jacob trusts his mother. Moses trusts the people. Elijah trusts Jezebel. Peter trusts the Jews. Many others, including us. Right? When we read, oh, it's true, but in practical life, we also did the same. Right? So the battle of works, the false battle against sin, the cause is invisible. The visible effects we can see as primary effect, secondary effect, and tertiary effect. So the primary effect is wrong behavior, impatience, anger, addiction, stress, anxiety, depression, and any kind of disease. These are the effect, not the cause. If you correct the effects, what will be the result? We correct only the effects. Like, we did no smoking, no stealing, no anxiety, no depression, no diabetes.
We have not eliminated.
Yeah, so we have to go to the root of the cause, so which is invisible, which is our heart, the spirit, in whom we trust. So this must be corrected. Only possible through the Holy Spirit.
Yes, absolutely.
Go back.
Oh, sorry. you can get all the PowerPoint. Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, thank you. Just send it to me out.
Yeah. Yes. So the law of life, take to give. You must take to give. But you don't know that. It is in the subconscious level. So the law of death is give to take. Give to take back. It is, you can see also in the children. You know, they favor you because they want something.
That's right.
Yes.
Or they love you because you give them something.
Right, right.
Okay, now I understand why the scripture says it's more blessed to give than to receive. Okay, that's
We
it.
never knew that. Never.
So, from whom you take depends, decide whether you supply the body with living or destroying energy. From whom you take.
That's right, that's right.
You take from your mother, you take from your father, your spouse, your children, your enemies, whatever. It is the wrong source. So the law of death is you give to receive. So the law of life is really a love relationship. If you take love from God and you freely give to others, you are free. You don't need to worry about what their response are. Whatever. You know, that's why the agape love is top of the Christian's life. You can love your enemy. What? So this is the top standard of our Christianity. So if you trust, if you are faithful, if you are dependent on God, you will be free. No need for trust to human. No need to be dependent. So here you can see beautiful the law of life with the 10 commandments here. So God put 2 stones, 2 tablets. One is exclusive, only God. One is inclusive to everybody. So the first 3 commandments, no other God, no images, not to take God's name in vain. It's you don't need to take from them. But the 4th commandment, here in the other tablet, you do not kill, you do not do adultery, you do not steal, you do not lie, and you do not covet. Do not take from them. So from the 1 tablet, do not take from them other gods, images, other names. Only God is expressed in the 4th commandment. So take from this. The 4th commandment is saying you take from this. And the other tablet, do not take from them is commandment 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 5th commandment is give to him them. Here it is, do not take. So, only take from God. And then here, honor thy father and mother. It's inclusive mean you give to them. So in our Buddhist country, I noticed that the Buddhists are more, they honor their father and mother than our Christian.
Wow, that's true.
Even me, I have my mother is 97 years old. Now she is getting old and cannot hear very well, poor vision. Sometimes I have to shout, cannot be patient. So I am breaking this commandment because I did not take from him. If you are sure that you take from him, it is sure that you will obey all the other commandments. Give, just give. So you are free to give and take from God. We sometimes unconsciously we know that we must keep the commandments, one after another, 1 to 10. But we don't realize that taking from God is the only main thing to do it. If you really take it from God, the others automatically follow. But how you take from God is another topic. It's very deep. I'm still learning. And Sister Norma know about this. Right? So here in John, I do nothing of myself, said Christ. The living Father has sent me, and I live by the Father. This is I take from the Father. I seek not my own glory, but the glory of him that sent me. So in the desire of ages, in the light from Calvary, it will be seen that the law of self-renouncing love is the law of life on earth and heaven, that the love which seeketh not her own has its source in the heart of God, and that in the meek and lowly one is manifested the character of him who dwelleth in the light, which none man can approach unto. So, has Jesus ever sick when he was on earth? No. Yet his life was a life of health. Physically as well as spiritually, he was represented by the sacrificial lamb without blemish and without spot. I was thinking about Jesus. He never got sick. He was tired, teaching, preaching, especially healing. And he didn't have enough sleep, but he is still healthy. He was. The secret is, what is the secret? In body, as in, so he was an example of what God designed our humanity to be through. Obedience to his laws means taking from him. So, the law of life for our universe, again, all things Christ received from God, but he took to give. So my prayer and my wish, may this law of life for all the universe be filled in us through the Holy Spirit.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.